This year, I started 15 different book series, but I only finished 5 of them. And I really don't want to go into 2026 with this many unread books. So I set a goal for myself.
I'm gonna try to finish as many of these series as I possibly can, all before December 31st.
The first series that I'm trying to finish before the end of the year is technically unfinished, and it's Quicksilver by Cari. The second book came out in November, and everybody I know and their mothers has already read Brimstone. I didn't have time for that. It's very important to me that I do read Brimstone before 2026. It's the second in the series, follows Sarah Swain and Kingfisher and Carrie Swift. I am about to actually head to the airport. I've been back in Texas visiting Cari and family, so I'm about to get on a plane. So I'm hoping we can make a good dent in this. So it is already the 16th. So I have approximately 10 days to get it together and finish as many series as I possibly can. My goal is to finish it tomorrow. Hey, don't look at how I look. Washed my hair and I have bangs. I read on the plane not as many pages as I would have liked because I did fall asleep. But I am 10 chapters into Brimstone, and yeah, stuff is happening. Couldn't tell you what, but there is for sure stuff happening. Some vampire stuff, some werewolf stuff, some fae stuff, some alchemy stuff. And that's really all she wrote so far. We have so many books that we need to get through in the next 6 days, and I'm scared. Will I be able to do it? God, I hope so. I'll check in tomorrow when my bangs don't look like this. Okay, hey. I got 230 pages in to Brimstone last night. It's really hard to talk about without giving any spoilers to Quicksilver because it is obviously the second in the series. But I will say the first 100 pages, I didn't feel like I was tracking super well. Now I feel like I am tracking. Everything seems a little bit more streamlined. Kingfisher and Carrion in the same chapters doing a dual mission together. Thank you so much. I actually really enjoy that. Also, Street Corner Horror for Taladeus. What can I say? Lorith? Yep. Yeah, and I'm gonna eat it up every time. Lorith is giving Lorcan from Throne of Glass. Overall, the vibes of the book are great, and I'm having a great time. But we've got a lot to tackle today. Laundry, dishes, cleaning my house, doing my nails, finishing this book. Ooh-wee. Good thing is that I have the audiobook for Brimstone. I finished. So let's talk about Brimstone by Cari. First of all, can you guys believe I finished this in essentially 24 hours? Go me. And go Cari for writing an addictive story. This book is unhinged in both good and bad ways. There truly is never a dull moment. The plot's insane, stakes are high. I was never bored, but I was confused frequently. Truly almost kind of reminiscent of Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros in the sense of that kind of like feeling of what did I just read? That's kind of how I feel with Brimstone. There were parts when I would think I was like understanding the world, and then, oh, suddenly we're in a new world. There's new rules, there's new creatures, there's new species. It's just like, okay, so we're doing this now. And you kind of have to like be ready to adapt at any given moment. That said, the characters of the book really carried me through the chaotic parts of the plot that I was failing to understand. But I also just think that at the end of the day, this is just one of those books that's hard to judge because it is in the middle of the series and you can tell it's setting you up for something so much bigger. I would rate this about 3.8 stars, not because I didn't enjoy it. It just kind of felt like a middle of the series book doing middle of the series book things. The second series that we're tackling in this video is going to be Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. So I have already read House of Earth and Blood. The next book is House of Sky and Breath. And these books are huge. She's a mammoth, of course. Book number 2 follows Bryce and Hunt trying to get back to normal after all hell broke loose in the first book. And I assume, because it's SJM, right? I assume that all hell is going to break loose part 2. I'm assuming and hoping, for my sake, that this one is just as good as the first one, if not better. We'll chat in a little bit. Hi! Halfway through Crescent City, I have been devouring this book. Who's surprised? Not me. It's hard to not give spoilers, but I'm going to do my best. Here are my thoughts. House of Sky and Breath is, well, it's just amazing. It's continuing to expand on the world of Crescent City. There are bigger stakes, deeper politics, the political world is growing, more moving pieces, and a lot of new characters. All of the characters' paths are starting to overlap and intertwine. So far, I'm loving it, which truly is not shocking because it's Sarah J. Maas. It feels kind of like she's casting spells and doing magic with the writing in this book. It's just so good. Who are you hissing at? Genuinely what? Marla. Oh, hey! The girls are fighting. Anyways, I think all of the characters are really lovable so far, and that's making me anxious because it's SJM. If there's one thing that I've learned throughout my journey of reading Sarah J. Maas books, it's that you cannot trust her. But overall, I am having a great time. I'm emotionally invested, and I'm deeply afraid. Everybody think of me while I go through the journey that is finishing House of Sky and Breath.
Who are these people?
I am not okay. I am mind blown. I am kicking myself for putting Crescent City off for so long. This book took everything that I love about SJM and just amplified it times a million. The stakes of this book, the emotional payoff, the characters, the relationships between the characters, the found family. Every single thread of this book, I was emotionally invested in. There were multiple parts where I felt like I couldn't breathe, but I also couldn't stop because if I stopped reading, then I was gonna die. And I don't know how to feel normal because I feel like my brain chemistry truly has been altered. If you've read House of Sky and Breath, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't read House of Sky and Breath, I am both excited and deeply concerned for you. This book is a 5-star book, 6-star book, dare I say 10-star book. Sarah, you've done it again. The woman can't be beat. She's a witch! I'm on a high. Time to get into book number 3. A quick rundown of where we are. I am halfway through Flame and Shadow, and the speed at which I have been reading this book, it's concerning. I am physically incapable of putting this book down. As far as the actual storyline goes, there was kind of a group that was created in House of Sky and Breath. In classic SJM style, they were separated. Basically, at the beginning of the book, everybody's kind of on their different journeys. So it's switching back and forth, very reminiscent of Empire of Storms. But I really enjoyed seeing how each individual storyline unfolds, and I'm on the edge of my seat for when they finally start reconvening. SJM is very intentional with her character development, her world building, and her magic systems. I also think that it helps that there's a little bit of overlap with ACOTAR and Throne of Glass, so if you have previous SJM universe, Massverse knowledge going into Crescent City, it makes the read a lot easier in my opinion. And the crossover elements that we're getting in Crescent City, thank you so much. Overall, I'm flying through the book. I am obsessed with this. I am fully bracing myself for whatever emotional damage is to come. So the time has arrived. I finished Flame and Shadow, so we're gonna talk about it. Flame and Shadow follows Bryce as she travels the expanse of many, many worlds, and she is desperately trying to get back to Midgard because Hunt's there, her family's there, her friends are there. Everyone else is in Midgard, so Bryce is like trying to get back to save the world that she has left behind. The story's high stakes from the start because obviously we have Bryce doing her thing, but then we have Hunt, we have Rune, we have all of these other characters that are on their own journeys and in peril. So it is imperative that Bryce gets back to Midgard. And when she finally does get back to Midgard, she has to save the planet yet again. What really struck me about this book is how expansive it felt because we have so many different storylines, we have so many different things happening, but it still felt streamlined. So it still made sense. The ending kind of reminded me of Kingdom of Ash. There were certain stories that were rounded off and it was super cute, but knowing that this is not the last Crescent City, I feel like this is more like a Wings and Ruin type book. So I'm wondering if we're gonna venture out into other characters or if there's going to be an even bigger storyline that brings in the ACOTAR characters as well as the Throne of Glass characters, because there's definitely some Easter eggs. I loved this book. I've loved every SJM book and I was not disappointed with this. Flame and Shadow, 5 stars, 10 out of 10. If you haven't read Crescent City already, this is your sign. There's still a lot of unfinished series on my shelf, but the next one that I want to get into and finish before the end of the year is Once Upon a Broken Heart. This is a YA trilogy by Stephanie Garber. Outside of SJM, Stephanie Garber is easily one of my other all-time favorite authors. Once Upon a Broken Heart is the only trilogy of hers that I have yet to finish. And I've got the next two, which is The Ballad of Never After and A Curse for True Love. The first book, Once Upon a Broken Heart, kind of ends open-ended. It ends with you having a few questions. So book number 2 follows Evangeline and Jax as they battle with old friends, new foes, and a magic that plays with heads and hearts. I am so excited to dive back into the world of Stephanie Garber. Time to start The Ballad of Never After. The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. This book picks up right where Once Upon a Broken Heart left off. So it continues following Evangeline Fox and Jax, the Prince of Hearts. After the events in Once Upon a Broken Heart, Evangeline has sworn off trusting Jax. She does not trust him, she doesn't like him, she doesn't want him around. Unfortunately, Evangeline ends up cursed. She has to form an alliance with Jax because how else is she going to get uncursed? As they go through trying to break this curse, Evangeline discovers that not a lot of people can be trusted because the fates are mischievous. Like, that's their whole bit, is that they're gonna trick you. They're gonna trick you, and they're gonna not necessarily lie, but they are gonna do what needs to be done to get what they want. And Evangeline will be falling for it. So Evangeline really just can't catch a break, truly, throughout the whole book. Stephanie Garber's writing feels like it's whimsical and it's dark at the same time. Her use of descriptive language is unmatched. It genuinely felt like I was being submerged in this world, like I could dive into the book. I thought The Ballad of Never After was so cute, so romantic, with just a little sense of cruelty. I rated it 4.5 stars. I think that if you like fairy tales and you like old Disney magic with a little hint of doomed romance, you will love the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. So with that being said, that brings us to our third book, A Curse for True Love. I'm fully expecting this to be 5 stars, so I cannot wait to get into this. Apollo, When I Catch You. Apollo, When I Catch You. Well, I finished A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. This book was everything I wanted it to be and more. From the very first page, it felt like I was stepping into the world of the Magnificent North. I feel like as books go on, especially in a series, sometimes you really lose the whimsy. You lose the magic, that touch that like really enthralled you in the first book. This book never lost its sense of whimsy or wonder. If anything, I think it got better throughout the 3 books of this series. This felt like a perfect modern retelling of the true love's kiss trope. Between Stephanie's writing and the absolute banger playlist that I made, it was just one of those reading experiences that clicked. If given the opportunity, I would read Stephanie Garber's grocery list. Anything that woman writes, I feel like, is just pure magic. I would say A Curse for True Love and the entire Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy definitely delivered for me. It was cozy, it was romantic, it was enchanting, and it was just emotional enough, and therefore this book is 5 stars. But seeing as Christmas Eve is in 2 hours, this is where we're going to call it quits. Made it through 3 series, and I feel very accomplished with this video. Although my TBR for 2026 is not technically completely a clean slate, it definitely feels like a cleaner slate than I was going into 6 days ago. With that being said, I hope that 2026 brings more books and more joy. How do you do it? This one doesn't work. Oh, you did it. How do you do that? Oh.